The screen fades in on a quiet kitchen at dusk. Golden light spills through the window, catching dust motes in the air. A dining table is set for 4, good china cloth napkins folded just so. A centerpiece of fresh flowers Freya picked that morning. Steam still rises faintly from the turkey, mashed potatoes and green beans. The smell of home-cooked Thanksgiving lingers. William sits at one end, fork in hand, staring at the empty chair next to his. Freya is sitting across him, her plate untouched. She glances at the 2 vacant places, Richard's usual spot by the window. Ava's next to her. No laughter. No clatter of silverware. Just the soft tick of the wall clock and the distant hum of traffic outside. Freya reaches for her phone on the table. The screen lights up. No new messages. She taps Richard's contact, hesitates, then sets it down again. William notices, gives a small, tired nod. He cuts a small piece of turkey, chews slowly, eyes distant. They're probably busy, Freya says quietly, more to herself than him. William doesn't answer right away. He looks at the empty chairs, then at the family photos on the wall behind them. Richard grinning with his diploma, Ava laughing at her high school graduation. All 4 of them years ago on that camping trip, arms around each other. The smiles feel like another lifetime. Freya's voice cracks just a little. I thought this year, maybe they'd come. The camera lingers on the untouched plates, the cooling food, the silence that fills the room like water rising. William finally speaks, low and rough. We raised them to fly. Never thought they'd forget how to land back here. Have you ever set the table for people who never showed up? That ache when the holidays come and the house feels too big, too quiet? That's where our story begins today. In the heart of a modest suburban town, where maple trees lined the streets and neighbors still waved hello, lived William and Freya Thompson. William, a sturdy man with calloused hands from years as a carpenter, had always been the quiet anchor of the family. Freya, with her warm smile and gentle voice, worked as a librarian, surrounding herself with stories that mirrored the ones she hoped to create in her own life. They met in their mid-20s at a community book fair, surprisingly in matching outfits. William browsing woodworking manuals, Freya recommending classics. Their courtship was simple. Picnics in the park, long walks under starry skies, and promises whispered over cups of herbal tea. We'll build a home full of love, William had said on their wedding day, and Freya believed him with every fiber of her being. Their first child, Richard, arrived on a crisp autumn morning in 1995. Freya remembers the overwhelming joy mixed with terror as she held his tiny form, his cries echoing through the hospital room like a symphony of new beginnings. William paced the halls, his face etched with worry until he finally cradled his son, vowing silently to be the father he never had. 2 years later, Ava joined them, a spirited girl with Freya's curly hair and William's determined eyes. The house, once quiet and orderly, transformed into a whirlwind of diapers, laughter and sleepless nights. Freya would sing lullabies from her childhood, rocking Ava in the handmade cradle William had crafted, while Richard toddled around, his chubby hands grasping at everything in sight. The early years were a blur of milestones. Richard's first steps across the living room floor, Ava's gleeful shrieks during bath time. William built a treehouse in the backyard, where the kids spent endless afternoons pretending to be pirates or explorers. Freya baked cookies on rainy days, filling the kitchen with the scent of vanilla and chocolate, turning ordinary moments into cherished rituals. They weren't wealthy. Vacations meant camping trips to nearby lakes, where they'd roast marshmallows and tell ghost stories under the stars. But they were rich in love. When Richard struggled with reading in elementary school, Freya spent hours each evening with flashcards and encouragement, her patience unwavering. William taught Ava how to ride a bike, running alongside her until she pedaled off on her own, his heart swelling with pride even as he wiped away a tear. As the children grew, the challenges evolved. Teenage years brought slammed doors and heated arguments. Richard, once so eager to please, rebelled with late nights and a crowd of friends who pulled him away from family dinners. "I'm not a kid anymore, Dad," he'd snap when William questioned his choices. Ava, blooming into a young woman, faced the cruelties of high school cliques. Freya sat with her through tearful nights, offering hugs and advice drawn from her own past heartbreaks. They navigated it all together. Parent-teacher conferences, prom dresses mended at the last minute, college applications filled out over kitchen table marathons. William worked overtime to fund Richard's engineering degree, skipping his own dreams of a workshop expansion. Freya clipped coupons and budgeted fiercely for Ava's journalism aspirations, her own love of books fueling her daughter's passion. Graduation days were triumphs. Richard walked across the stage in his cap and gown, shaking hands with professors while William and Freya beamed from the audience, their eyes misty. Ava followed 2 years later, her speech about chasing dreams echoing the values they'd instilled. "You've given us everything," she said in her valedictorian address, glancing at her parents with a smile that made Freya's chest ache with fulfillment. They imagined the future. Holidays bustling with grandchildren, weekend barbecues, phone calls sharing life's ups and downs. After all, wasn't that the point of it all? Pouring your soul into your children, watching them soar, and knowing they'd circle back? But the nest emptied faster than they anticipated. Richard landed a job in a tech firm 3 states away, his apartment a sleek modern space filled with gadgets and ambition. At first, the calls were frequent, updates on projects, laughs about city life. Freya would put him on speaker, William chiming in with dad jokes that elicited groans and chuckles. Ava moved to a coastal city for her first reporting gig, her days consumed by deadlines and sources. "It's hectic, Mom, but I'm loving it," she'd text, accompanied by photos of bustling newsrooms. Then the drift began. Subtle at first, like a crack in a foundation you don't notice until the rain seeps in. Richard's calls dwindled to bi-weekly, then monthly. "Work's insane," he'd say, his voice rushed, background noise of colleagues drowning out the conversation. Freya would ask about his life, probing gently for details, but answers were clipped. "Fine. Busy. Gotta go." Birthdays passed with a quick message instead of a visit. William sent a handmade toolbox for Richard's 35th, engraved with "From Dad," with pride. It arrived, but the thank you came days later, a generic text that felt like an afterthought. Ava's disconnection stung differently, more like a slow unraveling. She married young, to a fellow journalist named Mark, and they started a family soon after. Freya dreamed of knitting baby blankets, William of building cribs, but invitations to visit were met with excuses. The baby's teething, or Mark's on assignment. Photos arrived via social media, smiling faces at parks, family outings that didn't include them. Freya scrolled through them late at night, her thumb hovering over the like button, a hollow ache in her stomach. "Why don't they call?" she'd whisper to William, who stared at the ceiling, searching for answers in the shadows. The holidays amplified the pain. Thanksgiving, once a feast of turkey and stories around the table, became a quiet meal for 2. Richard promised to fly in but canceled last minute. "Flights are too expensive right now." Ava sent a text, "Thinking of you," with no mention of plans. William carved the bird in silence, his knife steady but his eyes distant. Freya set 4 places out of habit, then cleared the extras away, each clink of china a reminder of absence. Christmas followed suit. The tree, adorned with ornaments handmade by the kids in their youth, stood as a sentinel of memories. Gifts wrapped and shipped returned unopened acknowledgments, perhaps a group text. "Thanks. Merry Christmas." No video calls, no shared laughter over eggnog. Nights were the hardest. Freya lay awake, replaying every moment. Had she been too hovering, too involved? Did her constant check-ins during college push them away? William questioned his sternness. Those lectures on responsibility, the times he said no to late curfews. "Maybe I was too hard," he'd mutter, his voice cracking in the dark. The house felt cavernous. Echoes of childish giggles replaced by the hum of the refrigerator. Friends offered platitudes. Kids these days are just independent. But it didn't soothe the raw wound. Seeing other families at the grocery store, grandparents pushing strollers, parents with adult children in tow, twisted the knife deeper. Why not us? Freya thought, envy mixing with grief. Specific incidents etched the estrangement into permanence. Richard's promotion party. Freya learned about it weeks later via a LinkedIn post. She called to congratulate, but the conversation veered to his new life. No invitation extended. You'd love the city, he said offhandedly, as if distance were the only barrier. Ava's second child was born without them knowing until after the fact. A hurried email with a photo attached. William printed it, placing it on the mantel beside fading pictures of the past. We should have been there, he said, his fists clenched. Freya nodded, tears streaming. The silence between them heavier than the hurt manifested in small ways. William's workshop gathered dust, projects unfinished, tools idle. Freya's bookshelves overflowed, but reading brought no escape. Every story of family reconciliation mocked their reality. They attended church, hoping for solace, but sermons on forgiveness rang hollow when the offense was abandonment without cause. Social media became a double-edged sword. Glimpses into their children's lives, Richard's vacation photos, Ava's family milestones. Without inclusion. They're happy without us, Freya confided to a friend, the admission breaking her further. Years ticked by, the disconnection calcifying. Richard turned 30, a milestone marked by a voicemail Freya left unanswered. Ava's articles appeared in magazines, praised online, but never shared directly. William and Freya clung to each other, their love a fragile lifeline in the storm of rejection. Yet even that bond strained under the weight. What did we do wrong? William asked one evening, staring at the empty driveway where cars once pulled up unannounced. Freya had no answer, only the echo of her own doubts. The pain of estrangement wasn't dramatic like in movies. No screaming fights, no ultimatums. It was quiet, insidious, a daily erosion of the heart. Mornings started with hope, a text, a call, ending in disappointment. Evenings blurred into loneliness. The television's glow a poor substitute for family voices. They wondered if their children felt the void too, or if lives built apart had filled it seamlessly. The what-ifs haunted them. What if they'd been less sacrificial, more demanding? What if society hadn't glorified independence over connection? In the end, the hurt lingered, unhealed and unrelenting. William and Freya sat on their porch, watching seasons change, the world moving on while their hearts stayed anchored in the past. The children they'd raised with every ounce of love had flown, not to return, leaving behind a silence louder than any storm. It was the unspoken tragedy of parenthood, giving everything, only to be left with echoes. If this hit close to home, if you've ever stared at an empty chair or waited for a call that never came, drop a comment below. You're not alone. Like if it resonated, subscribe for more real stories, and maybe share this with someone who needs to hear it. Reach out to your parents, your kids, before the table stays empty forever.